17th Bursa HLIB Straight and Focus series with our topic today on Semicon, light at the end of the tunnel. According to Semiconductor Industry Association, the semiconductor worldwide sales is expected to increase by double digits in 2024 compared to 2023. The World Semiconductor Trade Statistic concurred with the bullish view and expects strong rebound in the semiconductor market, forecasting a growth of 13% in 2024 as compared after a contraction of negative 8% last year. Nonetheless, concern over the inventory glut and slowdown in global consumer spending cast doubt over the sector recovery this year, leading to a dismal Bursa Malaysia Technology Index performance, which fell 28% from the highest level recorded in 2021. Is there a light at the end of the tunnel? Joining us today, we have esteemed guest speakers from leading local tech companies to share with us more insight into the sector. Before we delve deeper into today's discussion, I would like to remind our speakers to please abide by the time limit. For our guests on the floor, should have any questions, we would appreciate if they are reserved for the Q&A sessions after each of the speakers have presented. To kick off our event for today, please allow me to welcome Ms. Lee Jim Leng, CEO and Group Managing Director of Leong Investment Bank, to give an opening remarks. Let's welcome Ms. Jim Leng.
Ms. Stephanie Tan, Executive Vice President, Bursa Malaysia Berhad. Yang berbahagia Dato Sri Wong President of Malaysia Semiconductor Industry Association. Mr. Nicholas Ng, Chief Executive Officer of Franken Corporation Berhad. Mr. Lye Yhin Choy, Chief Executive Officer, Executive Director at Cnergenz Berhad. Mr. Michael Fun Mun Sek, Chief Commercial Officer of ITMAX System Berhad. Our distinguished panels of speakers, Yang berbahagia Tan Sri, Dato, Datin, all our valued clients, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Are you all ready? Good. And welcome to the 17th edition of the HLIB Bursa Stratum Focus Series. Today, we will delve into the theme that very much resonates deeply with all of us with the current investment climate, and that is semiconductors, light at the end of the tunnel. The semiconductor industry currently makes up 30% of Malaysia's GDP and 7% of the global market for semiconductors, and is commonly referred as to the backbone of modern technology. With electronic and electrical products dominating a large portion of the country's export, the Malaysian semiconductor industry definitely presents our manufacturers, investors, and industry stakeholders with an opportunity to invest in a high potential market. Having said that, the industry is nevertheless also facing some challenges that are affecting its growth and development. Global supply chain disruptions and geopolitical tensions have tested the resilience and adaptability in this crucial sector. While research and development in the sector requires large, continuous investments in order for the industry to be sustainable and economically viable. We are excited to use our session today to discuss the key challenges and uncertainties we are facing in the semiconductor market, while capitalizing on the unwavering optimism in the sector to drive us forward. With the government heavily focused on delivering the right infrastructure in advancing our semiconductor industry, we believe this sector is poised for a significant transformation, emerging stronger and more innovative than ever before. This is further proven by the remarkable rebound experience in the past year, with the Semiconductor Industry Association forecasting a double-digit increase in global sales for 2024. Furthermore, the World Semiconductor Trade Statistics is projecting a 16% growth in the global market for this year. Ladies and gentlemen, as a major semiconductor manufacturing hub, Malaysia is uniquely positioned to capitalize on this growth, especially taking into account global trade tensions and economic headwinds. By establishing production facilities in Malaysia, companies can navigate sanctions and mitigate supply chain risks. This strategic edge underscores Malaysia's pivotal role in evolving global economic landscape and poised to benefit from the projected growth in global semiconductor demand. As we traverse this recovery phase, it is imperative not to lose sight of the immense opportunities that lies ahead. The rapid advancements in artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, 5G, and automotive technologies are all poised to ignite a significant upsurge in global semiconductor demand. The convergence of these cutting-edge technologies will not only ensure the recovery of the industry, but also bring in a phase of unprecedented expansion and innovation. Admittedly, navigating this recovery requires acknowledging the challenges ahead. We must address issues like supply chains resilience, skilled talent shortages, and the need for sustainable practices. These challenges present both risks and opportunities for businesses within these sectors. One pressing concern is the shortage of high-quality engineers, which is further amplified by the influx of foreign investment in our semiconductor industry. The National Semiconductor Strategy aims to address this by producing 60,000 highly skilled engineers and establishing Malaysia as a global R&D hub. Achieving these goals requires commitment and strong effort by both the government and private sector to attract and integrate foreign expertise. Ladies and gentlemen, as we look ahead, we believe within these challenges lies the opportunities to find enablers that will drive growth, resilience, and sustainability in this sector. Specifically, opportunities to innovate, grow, and to eliminate the path for Malaysia and for the semiconductor industry. Notably, with positive outlook for the semiconductor market, coincides with Malaysia's projected growth in the manufacturing sector, with the electrical and electronics exports, which comprise over 40% of Malaysia's total exports, expected to benefit significantly. Today, we hope to have a deeper dive into this sector. Our esteemed speakers will employ us on the latest figures, trends, and the future landscape of the semiconductor industry. I'm very sure that their insights will guide us as we explore the immense potential that lies ahead. Not forgetting our guest of honor, who will be joining us later, Yang Berbahagia Senator Tengku Dato Sri Utama Zafrul Tengku Aziz, our Minister of Investment, Trade and Industry of Malaysia, who will further enrich our discussions with his invaluable perspectives and foresight. We sincerely hope that today's discussion will spark new ideas, foster collaboration, and inspire action. Together, we will navigate towards a future where the semiconductor industry in Malaysia not only thrives, but sets a global benchmark for excellence. Before I end my speech, I would like to extend our sincere appreciation to our esteemed partner, Bursa Malaysia, for their invaluable collaboration and unwavering support in making the Bursa Hong Leong Investment Bank Stratum Series, now in its 17th edition, a remarkable gathering of thought leadership. Our partnership with Bursa Malaysia has been instrumental in shaping the event today into a platform for insightful discussions and meaningful connections. And we look forward to continuing this journey of knowledge exchange and grow together. Please enjoy the session, ladies and gentlemen, and we look forward to a day of enlightening conversations and insightful discoveries. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jim Leng, for the warm opening. Our first speaker for the morning is Yang Berbahagia Dato Sri Wong Siew, the President of Malaysia's Semiconductor Industry Association. Dato Sri Wong has 29 years of working experience in the electronics industry. He served Intel for most of his career and retired from Intel after 27 years of service. His last position with Intel was Vice President of Technology and Manufacturing Group and General Manager of Assembly and Test Manufacturing, in which he was responsible for all assembly test factories worldwide. He also served as the Vice President and Managing Director of Dell's Asia Pacific Customer Center for approximately 2 years. Currently, Dato Sri Wong is the President of the Malaysia Semiconductor Industry Association and is involved in the electronics industry as champion of the E&E productivity nexus and a member of Pemuda. His today's topic will be on semiconductor as the golden goose of Malaysia. Please welcome Dato Seri Wong.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank Hong Leong Investment Bank for inviting me here. Today's topic I'm covering is, can you go to the next slide? Is the golden goose of Malaysia, I call it, because we are in the industry for more than 50 years, started in 1972, and we have grown from a simple assembly test manufacturing to what we are today. We've grown leaps and bounds actually to what we are today, involving not just assembly tests, but into IC design. We have some wafer fabs, we have advanced packaging that some companies are investing, as well as EMS, then spill over to medical device that use electronics, avionics, and so on. Many more. Okay, next. So my topic today will cover quickly overview of the global semiconductor industry, overview of the Malaysia semiconductor industry, and then overview of the Malaysia's semiconductor basically strategy. Okay. Next, a quick introduction of Malaysia Semiconductor Industry Association. We started in January 2021, and now have 273 members, officially launched in April with 4 key objectives: enhancing R&D, enhancing the ecosystem, and helping Malaysia to be globally competitive, as well as be the voice of the electronics and semiconductor industry. So next, please. We now have 273 members from 10 states in the country, whose headquarters of this company come from 19 countries. You can see that it is quite diverse. You know, we represent Canada, US, Europe, Asia, and so on. As you can see, we have our signature map, the Silicon Malaysia. We started when we celebrated the 50 years in 2022, and has been printing this map ever since, 3 years now. And the last one was our Prime Minister posted in his Instagram or Facebook. We conduct a lot of conferences, some of them SME, sustainability, and we also organize the Malaysia Pavilion in the Semicon Southeast Asia. So you can see the booth, you know, from 27 when it first started to 52 booths, and next year they are going to hold it in Singapore. Next. Let me give you a quick overview of a worldwide semiconductor market. Just now, I think Ms. Lee talked about the growth. As you can see, this year projected to be 16%. Actually, at the beginning of the year, it was projected to be 11%. And as time goes by, they get more optimistic. They're projecting 16. Next year, 12.5. And then by 2030, they're projecting 1 trillion. So you can see the growth from 574 in 2022 to 1 trillion by 2030. Okay, next. Just now, the 1 trillion is only on semiconductor, but you just take it and expand it to the other E&E and also into IT, you are talking about global GDP of 145 trillion. So you can see the significance of this opportunity over the next 6 years or so. Next. And AI and semiconductors, we call it the next super cycle because data now is the new oil. A lot of data have been generated through AI, through many of the applications. And you can see that by 2025, it is projected that there will be 181 zettabytes data, digital data, that is going to be consumed. This is a 3x increase over 2020. And the dawn of AI-driven is going to drive the next super cycle. And AI semiconductors will grow about 18% per year over the next 3 years, which is 5x greater than the non-AI chips. So basically, AI will drive the advancement of semiconductor industry. Okay, next. There is a big global race going on to develop the domestic semiconductor ecosystem. As you can see, as a result of the two things. One was the COVID pandemic that raises the awareness of risk mitigation. And two, with the geopolitical tension that's happening, everybody is racing towards this opportunity of this $1 trillion US dollars opportunity. In fact, the numbers was presented at the last Semicon Southeast Asia they have stated it above 1 trillion. You can see South Korea wants to build the world's largest and most advanced semiconductor supply chain by 2030. Taiwan says, I want to strengthen Taiwan's position in the global semiconductor ecosystem. China says, achieve chip self-sufficiency by 2030. Japan, double Japanese chip revenue to 114 billion by 2030. India says, diversify and deepen India's semiconductor footprint. USA wants to bring back semiconductor manufacturing back to America. Europe says they want to double EU's share of global semiconductor market by 20% by 2030. You see, everybody is competing in this race. So this race is going to be very intense in terms of competition. Next. So in summary, the global market now is on course for a strong growth in 2025. A near-term cyclical downturn has come to an end as per the Southeast Asia feedback. Equipment and material markets will show improvement in 2024, followed by a strong recovery in 2025. In 2024, 37 new fabs will be starting operating, probably grow to high volume maybe in a couple of years later. And then in this year, 23 new fabs are being built. It will take about 2 years to build the fabs. So you can see over the next 2 to 5 years, there's a lot of fab capacity available. Long-term key secular drivers remain intact, the 1 trillion by 2030, and AI, high-performance computing, automotive will be the main areas of growth driving this 1 trillion. Semiconductor investment capacity growth will diversify in terms of geography over the next few years. You can see with the race that is going on, everybody is trying to bring in the semiconductor and the electronics industry into their country, while at the same time, many companies are just diversifying because of risk mitigation. They are not going to put it into just one country. Let's look at Malaysia. Malaysia is a key player in the global semiconductor supply chain. We are the 6th global exporter of semiconductor. 7% of our global semiconductor trade flows through Malaysia, and 13% of global assembly test capacity are in Malaysia. So very significant. If you look at the names up there, we are in the top 10. Next. You can see that Malaysia in 2023 attracted 329 billion of investment. For manufacturing, it was 46%, and for the E&E, it was 85 billion, which is 56% of the total manufacturing investment. That's basically what the data show. And some of the big announcements you have heard over the last 2-3 years has been AT&S at 1.7 billion euro. They're starting at advanced substrate. Then you have Infineon, which is starting a new expansion of their fab into silicon carbide, a new technology at 5 billion euro. Actually, the number has grown beyond 5 billion euro. And Intel, 7.1 billion US, in their advanced packaging to cater for the high technology node of 5 nanometers to 2 nanometers. Then we recently SPIL announced 6 billion, Texas Instrument 15 billion ringgit, and actually many more. As far as I know, all semiconductor and electronics companies in the whole of Malaysia are building space. For two reasons. One, they were taught the lesson during COVID that you really need to have space when the RAM happened. And two, because of geopolitical tension, they see the opportunity coming in. And that's why they are all building space. And at the same time, to be ready for that 1 trillion if that really happened. Next one. So you can see that Malaysia export is somewhere between 38 to 40%, depending, it goes up and down, of the total export for the country. And it is, if you compare with the next 9 industry, cumulative together, even less, they are not higher than the E&E industry. And the surplus, we are the one of the 2, I think, having surplus of all the industry. And January to May, we are shipping about 228 billion. Okay, next, please. Now, in order for Malaysia to keep up with the global growth of 1 trillion by 2030, Malaysia needs to grow from 593 billion in 2022 to 1.2 trillion in 2030 in terms of export, if we just want to keep our position as a 6th exporter in the world. If you want to be better, you got to ship more, you got to build more, okay? And now that's basically the challenge. In order to do that, if we achieve 1.2 trillion ringgit by 2030, we need, that's our calculation, we need 300,000 workers more. And out of the 300,000, 60,000 are technical and engineering talent. So global war for talent will continue. So I won't go through the rest, that basically AI driving that growth. Next. So what is the Malaysia Semiconductor strategy? You have heard from RMK12 that for the first time, RMK12, the E&E industry and the semiconductor industry is highlighted as one of the eight strategic high-tech, high-value industry. Prior to that, all the RMKs, E&E industry is buried under manufacturing. You want to find E&E, go and look for manufacturing first. Inside manufacturing, you find E&E. But in RMK12, they have put it as one of the 8 strategic sectors. And then you have the new industrial master plan of the mission base that they want to focus to go up the value chain, new economic complexity and so on. And that will include things like IC design, FDI wafer fab, advanced packaging, as well as smart automation and advanced semiconductor equipment. PMX, our Prime Minister announced the National Semiconductor Strategy recently, and the plan was published. I will share that later. Yeah, next. So this one, I think all of you would have read it in the newspaper, about the 3 phases that the NSS will go through. 1 is building on foundation, continue to develop our strength. 2, moving to the frontier, pursue cutting-edge technology and moving up the value chain. And 3, double down on developing Malaysian firms to attract buyers of advanced chips to pursue advanced manufacturing. And that's where we want to create more global champions as well. There are 5 targets which I will not go through, which is basically 5 billion in phase 1, another 10 Malaysian companies in IC design and packaging, and create 100+ high revenue companies by phase 2 and so on. So there are targets that we are set to achieve. Next. So some of the challenges that we have. So the geopolitical tension and national security of the US will continue. We think that it will not stop. It will continue to be broader and deeper. That's what I think it will happen. And therefore, all the companies need to figure out how to face this condition or situation, and also capture the opportunities that present itself. And the supply chain, we have seen so many disruptions in the supply chain. We think every now and then we're going to face issues like this. The last one was the Suez Canal. I think you have read it that the logistics costs have gone up tremendously. There's not even enough containers and so on. You're going to face things like that. You're going to have earthquake, natural disaster, and so on. We don't see that going away. The companies need to plan for such contingency. And then we have the resiliency and risk mitigation that every country is doing, not just China, not China plus one. We have also US plus one. We have Taiwan plus one and Europe plus one. All of them are not going to put in all their eggs in one basket, not only in their country. They're going to have something outside of the country. So this is something that every company is assessing. What is the right solution, a right approach for them, strategy for them. We talk about emergence of India, Brazil, Mexico, Vietnam, all trying to take a piece of the cake with that growth. And actually we are in discussion with all of them. How can we collaborate? How can we grow together? How can we help each other and so on? So that's basically most countries are trying to get involved in this semiconductor industry. If you look at other countries, they are either doing onshoring, nearshoring, friendshoring, but they are not just now I talk about, if you look at the countries, they say what they're going to do, their plans, but they are backing up with money. Okay, CHIP Act, 52 billion, Euro 43 billion, China 150 billion, but all that, in fact, the numbers are a bit old. In fact, they are increasing their funds to support this. I think Malaysia, we came out with 25 billion ringgit, actually very small relative to all the other countries. But however, I think based on what YBhg said, they're going to create funds through the VCs or through the other funds that can support this industry. The last one is the war on talent. I want to touch on this because it is really important how we are going to tackle this growth, because we need talent. I captured the data from all the countries that have announced what they want. Europe says they need 100,000 by 2030, China 400,000, Taiwan 300,000, South Korea, Japan 14, Vietnam 500,000, India 1.2 million, and Malaysia. This is what we projected, that if you can achieve the productivity that we are projecting, which is at least 50 to 100% productivity over the next 6 years, then we need 300,000. We cannot achieve that productivity, the number is going to be higher. Okay, so but we assume that we can achieve, because there are technology that we are bringing in. Hopefully, the productivity is much higher. So this war on talent is going to be very critical, especially in the technical talents. And I hope we can come up with policies that can help the attracting talent from everywhere, including foreign students studying in Malaysia. With that, next, I think I end. This is a Silicon Malaysia map that shows all our member companies in the country. You can see that the main cluster is mainly in Penang, about 50% or more from Penang. But the cluster are throughout. It's not just they have it in Kedah, they have it in Perak, they have it in Selangor, they have it in Negeri Sembilan, Seremban area, Malacca, all the way to Johor, and then we have one X-Fab in Sarawak. Okay, so it's quite spread out. I think I'm done. I have 5 minutes left for questions, Q&A, they tell me.
All right, we will now open the floor for Q&A session. If you have any questions, please raise up your hand so we can pass you the mic.
Question over there.
Thank you for the presentation, Dato. I'm Najwa from CAF. So I've got a question regarding your target for the war regarding the talents. So Malaysia need about 300,000, but are they going to take how many percentage from the STEM students? That's my question.
I can't hear the question actually.
Sorry.
Can you all repeat?
Yes.
Can you come here? I can't hear the question.
Sorry, for the STEM students, how many percentage of them do you need? Because we know that 20%.
Malaysia, we have 15 to 20% our talent leaving the country. First part, gone. Okay, for whatever reason. The main reason everybody quoted is because of higher wages in Singapore and everywhere else. Singapore is the one that is the biggest magnet that attracts Malaysian. Of course, we have people who go to England, US, Australia, and so on. And then we have our input coming in. The number of students studying science and engineering is dropping. I collected the data for engineering only. It shows 18% drop over the last 5 years. And then for E&E engineering specifically, it is more than 25% drop. So on one hand, one is leaving. On the other hand, our number of engineers coming in is dropping. So what is the solution?
So that's why I wonder if you have a program for like primary targeting for primary children, primary school children, like because like my sister, you know, she's still in secondary school, but they haven't been exposed regarding this E&E industry. They haven't been exposed. They are told to study a lot of things, but they don't have the focus to study on.
We have many things to do, many things because you're starting from young, long-term solution.
Yes.
We need to have a short-term and long-term solution. The long-term solution will inspire children to be inquisitive, have the spirit of inquiry, and be interested in science. Okay, that has to go through all the primary education and through what I call STEM discovery, like spending some time in the Science Discovery Center. So one of the proposals to the government that I gave was to establish more Science Discovery Center throughout the country. Today we have one in Penang, which I pioneered to set up after I saw what happened in Silicon Valley. We have Metro Science, we have the National Science Center. I'm not sure whether it's open already, but it's closed for many years. And then we don't have science labs in school.
Yes,
during our time, when we study science, we do science experiment. Now we study science, no experiment, so how to understand and get inspired by science. So we have a lot of problems. So I don't want to discuss the problems here, but we have a lot to do. We have a lot to do. Okay, any other questions?
I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Perhaps we can take one last question. Any questions from the floor? If there's no further questions, I guess we'll end here. On behalf of Foreign Investment Bank and Bursa, I would like to thank Dato Sri Wong for sharing his insight with us today. Now I would like to invite Ms. Lee Jim Leng to present our token of appreciation to Dato Sri Wong. Please give our speaker a round of applause. Our next speaker for the morning is Mr. Nicholas Ng, the CEO of Franken Corporation, Berhad. Mr. Nicholas was a senior independent non-executive director of Franken Corporation's Berhad since 2006 and was redesignated as the chairman and CEO of the company in 2012. He holds a bachelor degree from University of Auckland and was admitted to the role of barrister and solicitors of both the High Court of New Zealand and Malaysia. Without further ado, please welcome Mr. Nicholas.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank Hong Leong Investment Bank and Bursa Malaysia for inviting me to this 17th Stratum Focus Series, and for me to share my view on the semiconductor space, namely, is there light at the end of the tunnel? Before I touch on the subject matter at hand, I was requested to give a brief introduction about Frontken, as I'm sure most of the participants here today may not have heard about us or are familiar with what we do. Although I did see some familiar faces earlier this morning, so please bear with me when I bore you with the same sales speech I normally do. I'm probably oversimplifying here, but in general, Franken has two key businesses, namely engineering and semiconductor. For our engineering division, we provide general maintenance and repair work for rotating equipment such as turbine, compressors, pumps, to name a few. Basically, we can repair, overhaul, and extend the useful life of most equipment that has a rotating part. By the way, I don't have any interesting slides to show, so just have to put up with a few minutes here. Our main business, however, is the provision of semiconductor support services to fabs and foundries across different regions, namely in Malaysia, Singapore, and Taiwan. So we basically support all fabs and foundries in the world, except for the two South Korean fabs, because they generally prefer to use their local suppliers. We also support some of the customers' fabs that are in other locations, such as in China and, of course, in the US as well. We primarily focus on ultra-high purity, advanced precision cleaning. What this basically means is that we will devise a specific formula to remove contamination on the parts and tools used by our customers in their production of specialized chips, including the most advanced nodes available commercially now, which I believe is the 3-nanometer chips. Through the use of AI, our customers are able to accurately predict and calculate the time required before each of the parts need to be cleaned. We commonly refer to this as the mean time between clean. The level of cleanliness of the part is highly critical to our customers' production of their chips. In addition to our customers' cleaning services, we also provide specialized proprietary coating, refurbishment, and modification to certain components to extend the mean time between clean and thus prolong the useful life of the parts. Basically, we play a very critical role in assisting our customers to reduce their costs of production through precision cleaning and coating, as it helps to extend the lifespan of the parts or tools, without which the used parts will have to be discarded and be replaced with new ones. Our services allow these used parts to be recycled and reused multiple times. With the key equipment that are being used to produce these chips running into tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, the replacement cost is extremely high. As the demand for more and more powerful chips increases due to AI and generative AI, the technology required to produce all these chips become more and more complex. I understand it is the single most complex or complicated process in the world right now. To that end, the tools and equipment used to produce these chips are becoming more and more sophisticated. Contaminants on equipment can lead to defects in the wafers, reducing yield and reliability. Therefore, wafer equipment cleaning is a critical aspect of semiconductor manufacturing to ensure the integrity and performance of the chips or the IC that are being produced. To ensure that we are able to continue to support our customers, we too have to invest more in R&D so that we are able to continue to support our customers. As we believe technology can only move forward, we therefore mainly focus on the cleaning process for leading edge nodes, which has been described by our clients as 7-nanometer and below. This measurement of the node is characterized by the smaller nanometer scale features that allow for higher performance and energy efficiency in chips. Our expertise and services are crucial in maintaining and enhancing the performance of the semiconductor manufacturing equipment used in these advanced processes. By creating by catering to leading edge nodes and being at the front end of the manufacturing process, what we call the front end of line, we support the production of cutting edge semiconductor devices, which are essential for high-tech applications, such as obviously smartphone, high-performance computing, automotive, and AI and generative AI. That's basically my sales pitch on Franken. Now I'll share with you a bit on what I see in the semiconductor space. To do that, I'd like to say a few words on the importance of technology, which I believe is relevant to the topic of today. Technology is profoundly important in our lives, influencing nearly every aspect of our day-to-day activities. One of the main things that relates us with technology, particularly for me, is communication. Today, we are thankful to have instant connectivity with the use of smartphones, social media, messaging apps that allow us to stay connected with friends, family, and colleagues around the world in real time. For example, the constant connectivity allows for timely updates and urgent matters can be addressed on a timely manner. I can receive and send messages in real time, ensuring quick decision-making and immediate response. From an economic impact perspective, it helps improve productivity. For example, automation and digital tools can enhance productivity and efficiency in various industries. From a new business model or ideas perspective, technology drives innovation in our business, leading to new products, services, and markets, as can be witnessed over the last decade. For example, augmented reality or virtual reality, where we use technology to do virtual tours, such as in the real estate industry. There are apps to allow potential home buyers to view properties as they were there in person. Then there is the AI for wearable technologies, such as health devices with all these smart watches. They come with AI algorithms that analyze data to offer customized plans, for your workout, nutrition advices, and wellness tips. This is just some of the very few basic examples of how technologies influence our life. It provides us with connectivity, convenience, and efficiency, and allow us to perform tasks more easily, communicate with one another regardless of location, and access to a wealth of information at our fingertips. The benefits are manifold, making our lives more comfortable, productive, and obviously enjoyable. The technology advancement often represent new opportunities for growth and innovation within the semicon industry. New technologies can lead to breakthrough in manufacturing processes, product development, and performance enhancement, which in turn can stimulate market demand and revenue growth. With that in mind, we can see that there are a few key indicators that suggest a positive outlook for the semiconductor or tech industry in Malaysia and also globally. As we are dealing with the front end of the semiconductor industry, we have somewhat of a front seat as to what demand is like for chips, particularly for the leading edge, more advanced nodes. This is because if the demand for chips is high, we will generally experience a higher volume of parts and chambers to clean. As Dato Seri Wong mentioned earlier, the growth for the semicon industry is going to hit about 1 trillion in 2030, which is fairly consistent with the roadmap that one of our customers actually shared with us, since 2022. By end of the decade, the demand is going to be extremely high. This is because if the demand for chip is higher, then our customers will obviously have to produce more chips. And the more chips they produce, the more tools will be mobilized to cater for additional demand. And that's why they are spending hundreds of billions of dollars yearly basis to build new fabs. And this is obviously good news for us. With more tools being used, the more cleaning will be required. Based on our first quarter performance alone, we saw improved demand compared to last year. Of course, one quarter alone doesn't guarantee how the rest of the year will pan out for us, but it is encouraging no less, especially if we were to compare to last year. Even if we were to compare against the first quarter of 2022, and 2022 so happened to be our best year so far, the first quarter of this year was even better. Putting aside the performance of our own business, There are several other key factors, indicators that suggest a positive outlook for the semiconductor industry. As a start, we're seeing increased production capacity. Major semiconductor manufacturers globally are investing heavily in expanding their production. Companies like TSMC, Intel, Micron, Global Foundry, and Samsung, to name a few, have announced that they're proposing to spend more again, and these numbers are increasing on a yearly basis, Obviously, this is used to build more fabs, in addition to upgrading the existing one that they have. Some are looking to convert their capacity to produce 5 nanometer to 3 nanometer due to the increased demand that they're seeing. In Malaysia, for instance, like Dato Seri mentioned earlier, Infineon Technologies, they are increasing their production capacities. And as a result, we also have to increase our production capacity to support them, with their silicon carbide and gallium nitride for their wide band gap chips. Intel, as mentioned earlier, have also announced a 30 billion ringgit investment for a new 12-inch or 300 millimeter fab here, which I think will be the first 12-inch fab in Malaysia. Secondly, the government incentive. Again, as mentioned earlier, governments worldwide are recognizing the strategic importance of semiconductor and implementing policies to support the industry. Our government too has been proactive with the introduction of the NSS. I believe this is, as mentioned earlier, a 3-phase plan backed by around 25 billion ringgit in fiscal support and targeted incentives designed to transform our country into a global powerhouse in the semicon industry over the next decade. Even prior to this, Malaysia has been attracting substantial investment from global wafer fab equipment companies, likes of Lam Research, and also wafer fab production companies like Intel. This investment will surely boost the local semiconductor and tech related companies in the coming years and create opportunities for our local supply chain, of course, us included. Thirdly, technological advancement. Advancement in semiconductor technology, such as the development of more efficient and powerful chips, are driving growth in various sectors, including, of course, AI and generative AI, and automotive as well, particularly for autonomous or semi-autonomous vehicle, and of course, consumer electronics. AI is expected to play a more pivotal role moving forward, particularly in industry like cloud computing, pharmaceutical manufacturing, gaming industry, and just to name a few, where it is critical for innovation and process optimization. Now you have cloud hyperscalers, telecom groups, and chip makers that are working together to develop a new kind of telecoms network, which will help to reduce power consumption of data-hungry AI application. So instead of using the current electrical impulses to transmit data, they're looking at ways to deliver data using light. If this is successful, it will obviously accelerate the transition to a 6G mobile internet. Lastly, market demand. Demand for semiconductor and all things electronic remains robust, driven by the rise in the usage of electronic devices, the expansion of 5G network, data centers, and the increasing adoption of electric vehicles and renewable energy solutions. Malaysia's semiconductor industry is set to benefit from all this increased global demand, with significant contributions to economic growth expected from this sector. In conclusion, while challenges remain, the semiconductor industry appears to be on a very strong path to recovery, supported by strategic investments, government policies, and sustainable market demand. Thank you all for your attention. I was told to keep it short so that more opportunities for some Q&A.
Okay, we will open the floor for Q&A session. If you have any questions, please raise up your hand so we can pass you the mic.
Okay, I've got a question regarding your total production capacity. I wonder how much per year, and maybe you could share your target for the next year your target for production capacity lah. Yeah.
We don't usually measure, as a service company, it's a bit difficult to measure our production capacity as such. But we usually get guidance from our customer in terms of their own production, which is usually a 3-month immediate outlook followed by a 3-month forecast. And based on that, we were able to then plan our own production capacity, and that's why we recently increased capacity for nearly all our facilities in Singapore. We had to do that as well because the 3 new fabs in Singapore, Micron, Global Foundry, Emcee, they all have new facilities there. So we expanded our facility sometime last year, and in Taiwan we did the same. We put up a new facility in Kaohsiung to support increased demand that our customer advised us earlier in the year. And likewise in Malaysia as well, up in Kulim, we have a facility. We have also expanded that facility as well.
So I think you just provide the cleaning service for the semicon industry,
Yes.
right? Okay, because I heard you mentioned about the production capacity. I thought you produce a product also.
We don't produce anything actually. Yeah.
So another question would be regarding your TSMC. I've seen your report. You had like 35% contribution towards your revenue for TSMC. I wonder if you would target more percentage for the next quarter or next year then.
Due to the NDA that we signed with all our customers, we don't actually mention or allowed to mention name of our customers. But yes, our single largest customer for last year account for about 32% of our revenue. I mean, if you know, with our biggest production or revenue generator is in Taiwan, and Taiwan is where the world's largest foundry is located. I think currently the particular foundry accounts for 62% of the global logic chips. You know, so we are cautiously optimistic that you know, our volume from our main customer will continue to increase. Yeah, as they are the only one right now that are able to produce the most advanced chips, which is 3 nanometer, with 2 nanometer scheduled to be in commercial production sometime next year. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Tan.
As we understand that Franken's semiconductor business is very much concentrated in Taiwan. Also understanding from Mr. Wong, Dato Wong, that there are a lot of foundries coming up around the world. Can you share with us what's your expansion plan, or do you have any plans to have presence elsewhere?
Yeah, we're obviously in constant discussion with our customers. The relationship is very symbiotic for us, you know, between us, the WFE, the wafer fab equipment maker, and also the foundries and fabs. You know, when they decided that they wanted to expand to the US, Japan, and also I think in a few years' time to Dresden in Germany, we of course in discussion with them. And there are plans for us when it becomes viable for us to do so. The initial wafer out production in US is going to be around 20 to 25,000 wafer, which is a bit low for, by their standards, and also for us. It doesn't make a viable business proposition at the moment, but we will be able to support them from our facility in Taiwan. They will air freight all the critical tools to us in Taiwan. So yes, in that sense, we will be supporting them right now using our Taiwan facilities, but we foresee in a few years' time, we will definitely have a presence in the US.
Thank you.
Perhaps we can take one last question. Any other questions from the floor?
Probably I'll add one more. Mr. Ng, can you share with us how Franken will benefit from this AI boom? So, as well, I understand that Franken also has a presence in Singapore, is serving one of the largest memory customer in the world. Can you share some light over there?
Yeah, we're definitely, I mean, AI chips generally, I think the right now that's available in the market, I think is one which is produced by NVIDIA, which I understand currently uses the 5 nanometer chips, you know. But the demand for 3 nanometer chips is actually increasing very strongly. I think that's why our customers are converting their 5 nanometer tools to 3 nanometer. It's probably would have been completed by now, which indicate that the demand for the more advanced chips are increasing further, and the volume is very high. I've read that their capacity for 3 nanometers is already taken up until the end of next year. So we are definitely seeing a benefit from that perspective. Yes, our customer in Singapore, with their high bandwidth memory chips, you know, we are seeing a lot of new tools coming our way, especially starting from, in fact, this month, you know. So we will see quite a significant ramp up in months to come. I mean, we are heading into what we call the ramping up season, which is the second half of the year. So yeah, a lot will be or can be seen in our second half. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Sorry, Nicholas, one last question.
Yep.
Nicholas, just now you mentioned that you actually increased capacity in Singapore. Can you share how busy is your Singapore plant right now compared with pre-pandemic level, pre-pandemic period?
If compared to pre-pandemic, say, pre-pandemic wasn't really a very busy period for us. During the pandemic, in fact, during the lockdown, it was it was quite a good time for us. You know, 2022 was our best ever year. You know, so compared to 2022, obviously we're still far from that stage. But things are slowly picking up. Last year was not good for us in Singapore. It was for some reason quite slow, and with this year with the 3 new fabs up and running, we expect volume to pick up. So we are slowly seeing it. It's been increasing on a month-to-month basis. We think that this is the month where it is starting to pick up in a slightly more significant manner. Second half should be much better than the first half for Singapore.
Any more additional questions from the floor? If there's no further questions, now I would like to invite Ms. Stephanie Tan, Head of Investor Development of Bursa, to present our token of appreciation to Mr. Ng. Please give our speaker a round of applause.
You keep it.
I know. I'm going to give it with goodies.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ng, for sharing your insight with us today. Our third speaker for today is Mr. Lye Yhin Choy. Mr. Lye is the CEO of Cnergenz Berhad with over 30 years of experience in automation and provision of SMT manufacturing solutions, with business present in Malaysia, Thailand, and Vietnam. He co-founded SIP Technologies Berhad in 2004 and subsequently in May 2022 listed the group under Cnergenz Berhad in East Market and successfully transferred its listing to the main market in January this year. On today's topic, Mr. Lye will be talking about the current state of manufacturing in Malaysia. Please welcome Mr. Lye.
Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Bursa Malaysia and Hong Leong Investment Bank for inviting me over for this session. So for this morning, I would like to share with you the view of the smart automations and the smart factories that is happening in Malaysia that will be beneficial to the semiconductor industries. Is it playing? press for me. Okay, just a snapshot of our company. If you guys are new to Cnergenz, we have 20 years of experience in the electronics and semiconductor industries. We specialize in providing equipment to the electronics and semiconductors factories. So our company is 100% hiring of all local employees with 25% workforce in the R&D. So currently, after our listing back in 2022, we have actually increased our R&D in terms of the creating a lot of the devices and also equipments using the smart manufacturing technology to enhance the capability of the local-made equipment. And currently, our business strongly present in Malaysia, Thailand, and Vietnam. And we have been offering complete smart manufacturing solutions since 2018, which is 6 years ago. So what is Industry 4? Just give you a quick snapshot. Okay, as mentioned, big data is one of the key importance if you want to go towards Industrial 4, and also advanced robotics. Okay, so in the futures and at of present as well, you can see that a lot of the factories are currently migrating into advanced robotic systems. And we also have a lot of simulations that need to be done. In the old days, they will basically just buy the equipment and put it in and do trial and errors. But right now, you can run the simulations and basically be able to get all the data out in a virtual environment. Internet of Things is currently the trend right now. A lot of the factories are adopting this Internet of Things to collect the data so that they can feed back into the big data where the AI will be able to use it to generate the analytics. Yeah. So AI is actually the part of the key drivers if you want to go into a smart factory environment. And cybersecurity is another area that is very critical. I believe you have seen some of the news. There's a lot of cyber attack, ransomware, and things like that is happening. So once you go into the big data cloud systems, cybersecurity needs to be enhanced. So this is another area that if you guys, the factories are going into the smart manufacturing, cybersecurity is a must for all the factories. And integrations in a way that, because as you know, Malaysia has been in the semiconductor electronic industry for a long time. Integrations are currently happening. We'll be catering for the legacy equipments and also for the state-of-the-art equipment that is available now. So integration is actually part of the key factor to be successful because a lot of the companies do not have the budget to basically migrate everything one shot to brand new equipment. So integration with the legacy equipment is also a key importance. Oops, I think, sorry, I kicked too fast. The other one is the additive manufacturing. Additive manufacturing is that instead of going through the traditional CAD drawings and go through a complete CNC manufacturings or going through a stamping and everything, you can actually print out your product, okay, for prototyping, for fast testing, okay? So after you have done the simulations, you can do on the additive manufacturing, and then after that, you can do the digital twin with the augmented reality. So later on, if you have watched the launching of the NVIDIA, these AI servers and everything, they're actually using that to do the digital twin factories using augmented reality. So it means that they'll be actually showcasing all the 3D modeling of the entire factory. You can run the simulation, you can know the output, the quality of the output and everything through this environment. Okay, so I'll just drive into the current state of manufacturing in Malaysia. So as you know, the industry is currently adopting the Industry 4, this adoption. A lot has been invested currently in the advanced robotics and also AI and Internet of Things. And this actually enhances the data analytics of all the factories right now, and also the creation of the smart factories in Malaysia. Digitization is actually one of the key stepping stones in doing that, and you can see that during the pandemic, a lot of factories is forced into digitization because of you have to reduce the human involvement in a lot of ways. Digitization doesn't mean it's only on the production floor, but also in the office. You can see that there's a lot of things going on, reducing of paperwork and everything, and all going through online through the cloud system. And another key part is automation. So automation right now, we are seeing a trend that a lot of the MNCs with the new investments are coming in. They are already adopting all the new technology in automation that is enhancing towards a smart factory. But we're also seeing a lot of local companies that have actually embarked in the automation 3.0, which is in the 90s and in early 2000. Right now, they are also moving themselves over into the Industry 4 revolution. Yeah. So how does the manufacturer benefits from this? Okay. So with the adoption of the Industry 4 and smart automation, you'll be able to improve efficiency tremendously. Okay, we have actually done a lot of projects with a lot of our existing customers that they are able to enhance even up to 70% efficiency in all their processes, yeah, going through this, and enhance quality control. As you know, once you go paperless, there's a lot of tracking, a lot of things that you can actually control, and basically all the qualifications can be monitored and also be enhanced. Okay, so the other one is that the increased flexibility and customization. As you know, a lot of these current product, you can see the life cycle is very short. So once you start to manufacture, there'll be a product change, there'll be enhancements and everything. So all these flexibilities are required. So as long as the manufacturers are able to adapt and able to do customized solution in a very flexible way, they'll be able to capture and benefit from it. And also from the supply chain management side, you'll be able to optimize, because a lot of the companies right now is realizing that because of the environment, the ESG requirements, a lot of times they are actually overstocking, and sometimes they are understocking and everything. So what we can do is that with the smart manufacturing, we can gather all the data, and we can actually communicate very well with our suppliers, so that they are able to, give them a very optimized delivery of equipments in the parts to the manufacturing environment. Okay, so with all the enhancements, you'll be definitely able to do the cost reduction, and also enhance the safety and the compliance required, especially in the medical and automotive industries. So this is a must. So with all the smart factory capability, they'll be able to do this in a very well-organized manner. Okay, so those companies that's adopting the smart manufacturing, they're able to do a lot of innovation going forward, and also remain competitive in the market. And last but not least, customer satisfaction. So right now, if you can see that if you order a EV car right now, okay, right now not happening in Malaysia yet, but you can see in Germany and in China, you can go into the showroom and start customizing your car, and immediately click a button, and the factory will start the production of it. Okay, to your customized to your requirements. Okay, so this is how advanced right now. Because in the old days, if you want to order anything customized, they'll tell you 6 months lead time to a year before you can even see the car. Okay, so let me just go through the segment that is powering the growth of the smart manufacturing. A lot of the targeted customers that we have right now in the automotive, in the industrial, especially the EV charging right now. As you know, there's a lot of EV cars on the road right now. They're always having a dilemma that where can I find a charger? So the charger right now is actually in great demand right now, and we have clients that is actually producing not fast enough for the charging station. Okay, right now the other one is the high-end computing, especially on the generative AI and high-power computing. We see that there's a lot of server farms and this AI computing that is driving this. And later I will show you some of the manufacturing lines that they use to produce the AI server boards. This is quite unique. And also telecommunication, 5G, and now we are talking about 6G. They are growing trend, and this is actually driving the smart factory adoption right now, especially in Malaysia. And also medical devices, aerospace. As you can see, medical devices and aerospace, they're very stringent quality control. So a lot of the companies that is producing these devices, they want to run in a no-touch line. No-touch line means that no human involvement in producing the devices. So this is to reduce the risk of human error and taking a life of a patient on the field. So we call these mission critical devices, especially in aerospace as well. You're not going to fly halfway and then loss of navigation system and you don't know where you are, right? You can't land the plane. Yeah. So these are things that need to be really controlled in terms of the quality. The only way to do it is through automation factory. Yeah. Okay. So this is one of the industrial application that we have done back in 2018. This is through a company called WinSmart in Vietnam. So they're actually producing their own mobile phone. So we have set up the line for them back in 2018 using a manual assembly line. And 2019, we turned it into a fully automated line. So this particular project, we have actually reduced 88% headcount from the manual assembly to the fully automated line, and they're able to enhance the quality output by more than 2%, so 2% less rejects. So if you're talking about 30 million phones per annum, you see 2% is quite a lot of money that they save, yeah, from the manual assembly line to the fully automated line. Okay, the other one, this is the hot topic right now, AI server, okay? So if you look at the AI server board, it's not your traditional motherboard or the server board that you guys see, okay? This server board is heavily populated. You're talking about easily 20 to 30,000 components, okay, will be mounted onto this particular board. And this board weighs easily 30 to 50 kilo. And each board of this easily costs you $500,000 ringgit, right? So imagine having an operator to handle this board. Do you think that the factory that is doing this will hire an operator? Okay, what's the wage of the operator? 3,000 or 4,000 ringgit to handle a $500,000 board? Would you trust them? No, right? And the problem is not that. The problem is the weight of this board after it's been fully assembled. As you can see, they are taking in a lot of power, and the heat sink is usually very heavy. Once it's fully mounted, this can go up to 50 kilo, depending on the type and the size of the processor that you're using. And this is like a bag of rice or 2 bags of rice. So if you guys carry rice from supermarket to your 15-story house or 28-story penthouse or whatever, it's pretty heavy, right? So if an operator were to handle this for 8 hours a day, I think he'll become Mr. Universe, very fast. So in order to address that, okay, the whole factory have to be fully automated, yeah. So you can see that they'll be having all the robots that is handling the boards, okay, lifting the boards out from the trays, putting it onto the production line, okay. There'll be no human intervention, okay. We will only hire technicians and engineers to maintain the equipment, not running the production line, okay, not running the server boards, okay. So you can see how big the board is. It's equivalent to the size of a bag of rice. After fully assembled, be the weight of the bag of rice. Yeah. Okay. So last month, we have actually recently launched this smart factory solutions with 100% locally developed system. So we actually partnered with Yes 5G, and one of our clients, Clermont, have actually adopted the system. So from these adoptions, based on the manufacturing feedback from their productions, they're able to save 70% of their so-called time to process. So they basically have, in a lot of the processors are able to increase 70% productivity just by adopting the smart factory solution. So this actually enhances the capability of a lot of local companies. So we have actually adopted the AGVs running through a 5G private network. So this is actually a trial network that was run by Yes. So using 5G, so we don't run on any Wi-Fi anymore. So 5G, so by running on 5G, we will be able to reduce the cybersecurity threat, because Wi-Fi, as you know, I can just take a computer and log into your Wi-Fi and I can hack the whole system already. So through a 5G, it's much more secure. So this is something that we're partnering with Yes 5G right now to see whether we can roll this out to other factories. And also, as you can see, there's a lot of legacy factories that having a lot of old network systems in their factories. So instead of changing it through a normal LAN cable or Wi-Fi, they can actually opt into the 5G network, and just by putting one antenna, there's no blind spot. The whole factory is actually the network out. Yeah. Okay. So for summary side, we have actually a very optimistic outlook for the smart factory adoptions in Malaysia, especially in Southeast Asia right now. We do have a lot of inquiry coming in from Thailand and also Vietnam in going into a smart factory solution. As mentioned by Dato Sri Wong, everywhere is having shortage of headcount. So everyone is actually driving themselves to adopt this automation innovation going forward, especially in the Industry 4 revolution right now. Okay, so with this, I end my talk. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
We will now open the floor for Q&A session. If you have any questions, please raise up your hand so we can pass you the mic.
Thank you, Mr. Lye, for such an insightful sharing.
Yeah.
I think what I wanted to ask is that I think we totally agree. I mean, we hear from Dato Sri that, you know, the problem is everybody is chasing for skilled talent, right? So automation. So in your forecast, right, I mean, we look at a couple of years from now, how will automation help to solve in terms of the gap in really replacing some of this talent that we need so critically? Looking at the numbers, it seems really big, right? Yeah. So, I mean, this is something that it'd be great if you can share with us what is your feeling about that. Yeah.
Actually, based on the current situation right now, if you look at the entire production line, there's always two sides to the coin. So some of the owners believe that yeah, automation works, but it was going to cost me a bomb. It's going to cost me a lot of money. So adoption rate, if those companies will be low. So the other point of view is that if you look at all the like the AI server, there's no way you can run it with the human, right? So they are basically have to embark in the journey of smart automation. So if you look at this, the growth going forward for the new investment, you can see that a lot of the factories are already in the automation field. But there's another chunk that is our SME. They are all local companies. They don't have deep pockets. So that is why our company strategize our product to be able to price it correctly for this market, so that they'll be able to adopt and have a fair fight into the new era together with the MNCs. So going forward, we can see that the growth is tremendous. The growth is tremendous, but with the right adoption. Because you can see that right now, we have actually done a few projects right now with the local manufacturing companies. But we are telling them, don't do a full automation one shot, because it's not going to work, because you need time to adapt. So what we do is that we do in stages with them, and we're doing in modules for them. So this is how we actually prepare the legacies companies in order for them to see the benefits of going into automation. They have to go into automation whether you like it or not going forward, but it's the way we have to educate them in order for them to accept it, because it's actually a lot of times probably the past decade when they try, they find that there's a lot of failure. Every time they change a new model, this whole thing becomes a white elephant. Yeah, so with the smart automation, with the simulations and all those things, we are able to change this mindset right now, and we've been very successful going forward with a lot of projects right now. Yeah. Okay.
Any further questions from the floor? If there's no further questions, on behalf of Hong Leong Investment Bank and Bursa, I would like to thank Mr. Lye for sharing his insight with us today. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Alan Tan Ji Kian, Head of Broking, Hong Leong Investment Bank, to present our token of appreciation to Mr. Lye. Please give our speaker a round of applause. Our first speaker for the morning is Mr. Michael Fun. Mr. Michael is ITMAX System Berhad Chief Commercial Officer and is responsible for overseeing all business development, marketing, and sales of ITMAX Group. Today, Mr. Michael's presentation topic will be on powering smart cities with AI and technology. Let us welcome Mr. Michael.
Dato Seri, Dato, Datin, Tuan-Tuan dan Puan-Puan, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I think we're very close to good afternoon, right? So thank you so much first and foremost to Hong Leong Investment Bank for giving me the opportunity to be able to share a few thoughts with regards to the use of technology as well as the use of AI as it comes into our world and into our economy, isn't it? So in ITMAX, we have made it our mission to make the concept of smart city a reality. To realize this, ITMAX has, from the onset of our endeavor into this particular journey, is to being very intentional to offer our technology as a form of service rather than as a product. So may I just give you a quick glance and tell you a little bit about who ITMAX is? So ITMAX is a AI-driven integrated digital infrastructure service provider. It's a mouthful, but we have from the very beginning set this as our mission, as our goal, because when we go to a lot of the towns and cities, we realize in order to make it, ourselves smart, we have to have the right foundation, the right ingredient to be able to sustain the journey. And a lot of places that we go to is all working in silos, working in individual equipments, and it has been a very big challenge for us when we first went in. But today we have looked at the word integration as one of our key elements wherever we go, connecting every systems together. So we look into developing and implementing artificial intelligence technologies and solutions across our service offerings. The idea is to aim to enhance and to the efficiency and in producing the intelligence in order to arrive at performance that would drive the economy, drive the business, drive the services of the various stakeholders. So, for example, here on the first side of the slides, you can see we looked at the network lighting systems. Today, we have successfully installed and currently maintaining about 45,000 proprietary smart LED street lights connecting back to a command center. So no longer you need a peronda or a guy on a motorbike going around the city trying to find out if there's a failing light or a lamppost or not. Everything is at the fingertip of our dashboards and our command center where we are able to see whether this system is working or not working. And the best part of it is, of course, we contribute towards the ESG part in this case, because now we are removing vehicles from going around the cities trying to find out what's happening, right? And in this case, we are also being very proactive as well, realizing that at the end of the day, if there is a failing component in the street lights, we can actually immediately mitigate it rather than waiting for failure to happen. Because by the time it reaches many of the LED bulbs starts to fail, you may end up having to replace the entire system, right? We also have developed our own internal traffic light management system. We take it for granted whenever we go to a traffic light junction, we only see the red, yellow, green because they are the prominent aspect of our day-to-day life, right? When we sit at the traffic. But really, behind all these traffic light systems, what controls the colors, the red, yellow, and green, is really a computer sitting at the traffic junction. And this is where we come in. We come in and formulate algorithms and mathematics permutations in order to optimize and fine-tune the timing of the traffic lights. So we have over time, we have actually built our own internal team focusing on fine-tuning the traffic light algorithms, all right, in order to manage traffic. And today, we have just this year completed our installation of traffic light junction controllers at every traffic light. But please bear with us. It is still an AI system in training. In case afterwards you start asking me questions, hey, how come we are still in the traffic jam today? Well, it takes time, all right? Just like we all go to school, we are teaching our children to go through kindergarten, primary school, secondary school, and then university, right? So our AI system is still learning. We are fine-tuning because we cannot have a one-size-fits-all system because every city, every town has different demographics, different behaviors, isn't it? And we are dealing with a Kuala Lumpur with almost 3 to 4 million population that has been ingrained how to drive your vehicle in KL. Sometimes you already can predict, right? Before the traffic lights turns red, I know it's my turn next. I'm already putting my gear into drive. So it's a behavioral change phenomena that still needs to take time. And sometimes this is where AI can help facilitate towards the direction, but it will take some time of education. And something that we have also pivoted very aggressively to in the last couple of years. In fact, in 2018, when we secured the project in Kuala Lumpur, we started installing the cameras. Was only 1,000 cameras when we took over from the incumbent. But over time, 1,000 cameras became 1,900 cameras. 1,900 cameras, in 2 years, we grew it to 5,000 cameras. And it's not just about adding more cameras. The fact was because we use cameras as incidentally just a tool of digitalization. What really is driving the requirement is because we were able to demonstrate the use of AI and machine learning through these digital tools called cameras, CCTV. So today, when you look at CCTV equipment on the roadside, don't be alarmed and think that, oh, I'm being surveilled, I'm being monitored. It is to the contrary. It is actually helping to digitalize the real world into the digital world, formulate that into algorithms and mathematics, and then retranslate that into automation and workflows. And one of the examples that how it's being used is in the form of the traffic lights, in the form of automating some of our KPIs to manage our contractors that comes and manage the streets, keeping the streets safe. Incidentally, some of the studies I can shoot off from my head is, for example, we work very closely with the police as well. And the police uses these systems from DBKL, from the City Hall, in order to do crime investigation. So obviously, there is an element of monitoring, there's an element of surveillance, But really, the idea was to facilitate the capturing of data so that data can be used more effectively and more efficiently for crime investigation, for example. And on top of that, we have other city management applications that has been used. So we call it use cases. When we started the project, there was only 6 use cases based on AI that was formulated specifically for traffic, because when we went in, it was a smart traffic project. But within 2 years, we started developing internally AI functionalities that capitalizes on this technology to build city management applications. So at the end, things like, for example, monitoring hawkers on the road, monitoring posters that suddenly appear on a lamppost or at the side of the road, monitoring water ponding on the streets, where you suddenly have a pot and then you don't know where there's a pothole down there, monitoring and capturing automatically incidences and events on the road. So if you go to DBKL Facebook or you subscribe to their social media handles, whether it's Twitter or Instagram, you'll be able to catch more what you call insightful information from DBKL, informing you what's happening on the road, what's happening in the city. So these are part of the use applications that's coming out from our systems. All right, so beyond that, we also have installed cameras, not just on the public infrastructure outside. We have also installed cameras with AI functionalities indoor as well, from shopping centers to enterprise buildings, but more specifically also in the police lockups as well. So we have cameras located inside the police lockups, predominantly because of the issue of death in custody. There was a very big issues, conversation about death in custodies, and so the police have actually incorporated these systems into their lockup so that they can monitor and they can be defended as well. At the end of the day, look, these guys came in and they were not well, and they just, unfortunately, they maybe due to stress or whatever health circumstances, they passed away during in custody, right? But anyway, these are some of the things that we have been working on. And to support our extensive rollout of applications, we have also built and invested heavily into constructing our own private network on fiber optics. So in Kuala Lumpur itself, we have close to about 500 kilometers of fiber running in KL. And these are linked to the cameras and all the IoT sensors and equipments that we have set up. So it's not just about cameras. I did mention that we also have sensors and data collector devices as well. Now, this fiber, why we invested into this particular segment to build our own fiber is because of the issue, to address some of the issues of cybersecurity as well. So we built a private infrastructure because we are dealing with critical network infrastructure, right? We are dealing with national security here. So we are very mindful of that right from day one. And so we decided that we will also build our own private infrastructure so that we can at least create another layer away from the internet. So there's no internet connectivity to any of our traffic lights and street lights and CCTV, yeah? Okay? So we have also, in our portfolio, increased our telecommunication sector as well, where we have smart poles and telco towers. And these are some of the things that we have been growing our services. So today we have built it into a service. And that's why you don't see our books looking at new sales in terms of equipment sales. Because and that's why you see the word order book, right? So we create this as recurring income streams for us because we provide a service and then we offer service contracts. So we have contracts of various tenures ranging from a couple of years to double-digit years as well. So we have increased our geographical presence, expanding from KL, where we started. We port the model across to Johor. And today we have also implemented, and in the midst of implementing in some of the cities in Johor, including Johor Bahru, Iskandar Putri, Pasir Gudang, as well as Kulai. Okay, and hopefully more to come. There are 16 PBTs PBTs means the local councils in Johor. So we are very optimistic. Hopefully we can be a bit more aggressive in Johor, okay? So, yeah, so this is, just to mention as well, we have 2 new service offerings, and these are some of the areas that we are also trying to expand our horizon, going into smart healthcare services, applications specifically, and then into smart parking as well. I think recently you may have caught the news in the newspaper about how we have just started to launch our parking services in MBIP, that's in Iskandar Putri. So again, there's something to look forward to. So we are really much a homegrown AI-driven infrastructure service provider. We have our in-house R&D, initially focusing on equipment development. We were looking at devising our own systems. So when you go outside in KL and you drive around the streets and you see little songkoks on top of the street lights, we call it little, we kind of just nickname it because it looks a bit like that, a bit like a songkok on top of the street lights. Those are developed in-house by our own team. We actually started by procuring the equipment from outside, but after deploying a couple of thousand units, it started to fail on us. It was not connecting well, the failure rate was high, and that was when we decided, let's try our luck and do this on our own and see what happens. And lo and behold, from 5,000 to 10,000, 10,000 to 15,000, and eventually we roll out 45,000 streetlight posts here in Kuala Lumpur. And we have also started rolling this out in other parts of Malaysia as well. We have also gone over to Sarawak as well. So this is something that we have used AI and our own R&D team to our effect, in the sense that because we in-house, we started developing other systems as well. And we can customize it according to what the client wants. Because different places, when you go to Johor, it has a different mindset. You go to Kuala Lumpur, obviously it's a different mindset. When you go to places like Kampar or places like Batu Pahat, they have different requirements. I have requirements coming in and telling us, oh, yeah, it's good for, nice, and you know, when you're talking about monitoring and counting number of vehicles and finding out whether there's any traffic offenses or not, yeah, maybe big cities is good because that's where congestion happens. But here, one of our major problems is our street light always fail. And I want to know why the street light fails. We have been observing what, you know. And so I want your AI system to be able to do this scanner. So they asked us, so I said, I want you to be able to detect monyet liar. Because the monkeys are coming from the little jungles and climbing onto their street lights and pulling things out from the street lamp posts. And they want us to be able to detect it so that they can do early mitigation. All right, so things like this are being talked about in our R&D team and says, how can we improve and fulfill some of the customized requirements of our team, our clients. So today, before we roll out any of our services, we make sure that there's an accuracy level that is acceptable. Because again, at the end of the day, it's about training the models to be able to tell us and automate it. Because it's just impossible for any human beings to be able to sit there 24/7 and be able to see what's happening. So, especially with 5,000 cameras. None of you can even stand 24 hours in front of one TV or one computer screen, right? Here you're talking about 5,000 CCTVs or more and trying to do multiple functions at the same time. So we automate using AI. And we do collaborate with several local universities as well. I mean, we don't have all the talents in, talent has been a recurring theme among my previous speakers on the panel. So I said talents and skills is difficult to get. And likewise, we had the same problem as well. But there are a lot of Malaysian talents that in the university and in the higher Institute of Higher Learning. And so we tapped that particular area as well. And so we forged some of these initiatives with the universities, including setting up R&D grants, scholarships with them as well, so that we can actually raise them up and say, please, as you graduate, don't fly off us. Come and explore with us. And so we have started building some of this relationship from an early stage with our some of these students. We are early adopters of GPUs from the year in 2018, from the V series, the L series, the P series, and now the H100 series as well. We have procured several of these H100 servers. These are all supercomputers, high power, hyperscale, or HPCs, high-powered computing platforms from NVIDIA. So we have also several of these units, and these are in two stages. One is for our development of our and language modeling for our AI training, and we also do it for our production of our AI functionalities. All right. So and recently we have also been dabbling in these two particular areas. You have probably heard of Metaverse from Facebook, or Meta now they call themselves, right? And then maybe about 2-3 years ago, Marvel introduced their word, multiverse, right? The comics series are multiverse. And so now, after that, the AI world introduced a new word called omniverse. It's like a combination of metaverses and multiverses. So if you Google that word, you will have, omniverse is so much more bigger. It crosses a parallel between metaverses and multiverses. But I think this is where we are trying to see where the application is, right? At the end of the day, I can give you a quick, simple analogy, but don't stretch this too far. The idea is that you have the physical world, and you also have the digital world. Some things we cannot simulate and try in the real world because it involves physical lives, right? Especially, let's say we're talking about traffic simulation. What if I give this junction extra 30 seconds? What's going to happen? Or what if I remove the traffic lights totally? What is going to happen? So, but all this you can't simulate in real life. So we bring this into the digital world, right? Into a parallel universe, so to speak, with all the real-time actual data that comes into our system. Then we do a simulation. And when we talk about actual reality, you know that when you impact or change something in one junction, it impacts the next junction and it goes on. So it's never a stand-alone decision-making. So the machines need to learn how to negotiate themselves as well. So this is what we are doing as well, training the models. So with Omniverse, we are actually creating a digital world, digital universe and a reality, real world in parallel, working together, seamlessly exchanging information and data between the two worlds, two universe, so to speak, yeah? And be able to find that sweet spot. And it has to be dynamic. I mean, we are humans. Whatever happens in real life is dynamic. Things happen in split seconds. It could be an accident. It could be something just drop off the lorry, and and so traffic changes because just something is on the road, all right? Or a dog just ran across the road. So all these are real-time data captured into our system, and it comes back into our omniverse system. Then you will come to these phrases called retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, in the space of AI. And you also hear words like ChatGPTs and generative AI. They are quite interrelated. Now, here, this is not an AI class, so I can't be going through all the definitions. But essentially, what it does is that it improves the user experience between a human being and the use of AI. Or, in this case, the use of data generated by AI. So with RAG, we are able to now just do normal chats, asking questions, day-to-day questions. System, or you give a name lah. So different system will have their own name, right? So let's say a famous one, borrowing a very famous name, Seri, for example. Hey Siri, what's the weather like today? So that's a form already of ChatGPT, a form of RAG being used in generative AI. So in our system, imagine when you're in the command center, when you ask a question, system, what is the number of vehicles that's going through Jalan Sultan Ismail right now in the last 1 hour? What can I do to improve the system of the traffic lights timing in order to reduce the traffic congestion by 10%, for example? So these are things that is being experimented by our R&D team right now. Just some recent developments in 2024, some of these key milestones that's happened with us. In February 2024, we secured a variation order for DBKL for 7 million. This is basically to replace defective and now warranty street lights systems. In March, we actually secured a letter of acceptance from Johor with a contract value of 77 million. This is for Kulai. This is, so we have already secured, last year we already secured JB, Iskandar Putri, and Pasir Gudang. This year we got Kulai as well. In April, we entered in an MOU with JLand. What does that got to do with Smart City, right? This is something that I will talk a little bit more later on. In May, we actually secured a 100 million extra contract from DBKL. This is essentially for extending the video surveillance systems as well as the variable message sign. And then in June, we were appointed as the sole smart parking operator for Iskandar Putri as well. So but when it comes to smart parking, it is not just about giving a digital app and says, oh, I can pay through the app. This is about consolidating the process from paying, facilitating the paying, all the way to ensuring the parking space is being efficiently used. So there are reports, there are operation of the parking bay. These are all inventory for the city council, because every box at every hour during working hour is a source of income for the local government. So this is being monitored and systemized inside our operation services as well. Right, so we have secured in total now at the moment under Greater JB, we have about 370 over million worth of contracts in Johor. Just this for council itself, right? In smart parking, we give you a little bit of insight as well. So it became a zero CAPEX, zero OPEX model to the local government authority. So actually, there is zero risk to the local government authority. So we took over the full responsibility, not just to come in and say, we want to make money, and therefore I sell you a system, and we lobby for you to appoint us exclusively. But we come in and take the risk. We come in and invest up front. We come in and say, I will pay and spend all this money on this infrastructure, on these systems, come up with the equipment, come up with the people as well to operate and to manage. And so this is where so at the end of the day, the local government earns 30% without coming up with a single cent. No OPEX, no CAPEX. All right, so this is the idea again, we want to make smart city, smart township a reality by also making it affordable. Obviously, nothing comes for free. Obviously, we are here making a public listed company, right? I got to make sure that my stakeholders and my shareholders get money back as well. But this is how we make things affordable. Adoption becomes quicker and faster, right? And so, one final one, I think. They purposely stopped my slide. I think my time is up. Can I just shift to the next slide? Can you help me with the next slide? Or is that the last? Okay. So we have recently signed up an MOU with JLand. And as you may know, JLand is currently one of, in a very sweet spot in Johor, right? They've been covered in the news, maybe not so much mention of the word JLand, but you hear words like Ibrahim Technopolis or ITMAX or Sedenak. And these are quite synonymous with JLand already now, because there are a lot of data center businesses that goes into that area. And this is some of the, so this was one of the angle of collaboration with JLand. JLand being a very experienced, very talented and very capable land developer. And we come in from the technology perspective to see how we can synergize with JLand to operate and to manage the industrial park in Sedenak. And so this is something that we are exploring in our MOU. And so here you can see many of the developments in Sedenak, and I think like phase 1, 700 over acres is fully taken up. You want to squeeze a little spot from there, also no more already, tak cukup. And the power requirements have doubled up from the initial planning. All right, again, I'm doing a bit of sale for JLand. Okay, so today I think it has attracted many of the global DC players, including Yonder, K2, Keppel, Bridge Data Centers. They are all there now. All right, and then they are already starting work, civil work on phase 2. So there's step 2 coming up as well. All right, so the entire development is about 7,000 over acres of land there, including E&E hub, a food hub, logistic hub, residential as well. So eventually, I think you can see that Sedenak will be another big dot on the map, no longer a small kampung. And this is developed because of the growth of data center businesses in Sedenak. But I think it augurs well for the state of Johor, because it's also part of the whole Johor-Singapore SEZ plan from Malaysia. And so hopefully, I think we can all ride on top of that industry. And certainly, as we look at this, just to join the dots together, and you're wondering why ITMAX is here when all the other semiconductor companies, the big boys, are here. So just a little pun lah. So perhaps you may see the Semicon, what's so sexy about it? They're all dealing with chips, equipment. So hopefully Michael is here to make things a little bit sexy, showing you the applications, how we make it affordable, how we make it possible, how we make it a reality, and this is where ITMAX comes from. Okay, thank you. Questions? Thank you.
We will now open the floor for Q&A session. If you have any questions, please raise up your hand so we can pass you the mic.